to make sure that our lowest day is above 90% for the month of November. And we know that we can do it, but it takes all of us, and especially your help, Tiger parents. So we'll go on to the next slide. And this just goes to show, if you look at the very center of the circle, at the core are students and families. We cannot have high attendance and high achievement without you all, our parents and families. And then you all, we connect with the school, and around that, capacity building, actionable data. So we look at our attendance data, we look at our student data in the classroom, positive engagement. You all being on the call today shows that you are engaged, and attendance matters to you as well as to our Tigers. We are partners with you all, and we all share accountability on the school side of making sure our Tigers feel comfortable coming to Creole, coming to Escatawpa, and on you all side, just making sure that they're here every day, they're dressed, they're ready, they're healthy, and ready to come in and rock and roll. And also we partner with our community members as well as our school district. So it takes all of us, but at the core is you, and we want to make sure that you know we value you and we truly do appreciate you. Thank you, Ms. Reno. Okay, and so we want to move into our iReady reports. Every week, our students are logging into iReady and they are completing lessons. And we want to show you reading and math. For Creole Elementary, our time on task average for iReady reading, 41% of our students practice 30 to 49 minutes, but our goal is to have them complete over 50 minutes a week, just to ensure that they are completing those lessons and have a great understanding. And with that, we have 58% of students with 50 plus minutes on iReady. The average lessons passed, 82% of our Tigers in the school achieve this goal of passing those lessons. So please continue to talk to them. We're going to continue to highlight their achievements. And again, thank you for helping us to push the reading achievement.
And at Escatawpa, we had 19% of our students who practiced 30 to 49 minutes of time on task in reading last week, and 70% of our students practiced 50 or more minutes. However, our average percentage of lessons passed was only 77%, so there's definitely an area that we can grow and work on, because we really want to kind of have 80%, if possible, that average lessons passed. So that's definitely an area to look at and to work and grow.
And so we want to give a shout out to our first grade team for their time on task. They had the highest percentage in both kindergarten and second grade, tied with 86% having the highest pass rate. So kudos to all three grade levels at Creole Primary.
And for Escatawpa, shout out to third grade. Not only did they have the highest time on task for reading, but they had the highest pass rate in reading.
Okay, and now on to math. Creole Primary students have 38% who averaged 30 to 49 minutes for last week, with 58% of those students practicing with 50 minutes or more. So we do want to increase minutes there, but we did have 85% a higher average of passing rate. So we know that we can get there. We just have to continue to set a goal. Parents and guardians, we want to increase our time on task for next week. We know we can do that.
And Escatawpa math is really rocking. We have 24% of our students doing 30 to 49 minutes and 63% hitting that 50%. And look at that amazing 90% average passed lessons. They are rocking it in math.
Shout out to the first grade team for time on task, and second grade with the highest pass rate. Again, that goes back to parents and guardians and teachers working together to keep our Tigers encouraged. So job well done.
And once again, shout out to third grade again for the highest time on task and highest pass rate for math as well. Third grade is just rolling on through.
And so we will now go into our ideas for reading at home. We looked at our data at both schools, both Creole and Escatawpa, and we're going to be sharing with you now, parents, ways that you can work with your Tiger at home on the areas that our data showed we need a little bit more support. And so we're going to share reading or Creole primary as well as math, and then we will also share with you reading and math supports at home for Escatawpa Upper Elementary.
As for reading at home, we chose the two areas that we need the most work in right now is phonics and comprehension for nonfiction books. So for phonics, and these come straight from the Read at Home plan that we can get off of the MDE website. Flashcards is a good way to practice letters and sounds. You can write letters on the cards and flash them, so have them name them as well as the sound. They can draw letters. You can say a letter sound and then have your child draw the letter in either sand or cornmeal, or if you have a write-on board that they can wipe it off, something like that would work. And then you can do a word hunt. You can choose a long vowel that students are having difficulty with, like a long O or E, and give them that example, and then have them find 5 items around the house that have that sound in them. And then for the comprehension for nonfiction, before reading, you can point to the title of a book, or have something online and ask them what they think that book will be about. And then during reading, you can point to the different captions in the book as well as the headings, because there's also very important information there. And then after reading, you can ask questions about the book and what they still want to know about the topic that they were reading about. Next slide, please. And then some resources for those areas. I went to YouTube and found some songs. The ABC song is one they've been doing within the classroom, as well as Jack Hartman, and then Sesame Street with Usher. There's a plethora of videos that they can see about varying types of phonics, from letters and sounds to vowels, blends. I did the long vowels as well. And they talk about the sound of the short vowel as well as the long vowel. And those two are just two different types of videos. And it just depends on what your child likes. I know a lot of the students here like Jack Hartman. And then for informational text, it talks about what the other one talks about what informational texts are. And it gives the samples informational text is mammals. And it goes through and it talks about the areas of informational text and all the information that they have in them. Okay.
Vote. There it goes.
Okay, parents and guardians. And so now we're going to share with you
Hold
briefly.
on, Miss Riley. Hold on. Miss Reno, I think you went too fast. Go back a slide.
I think she touched on one of them and it was making the video actually come up.
Yeah, I tried to
Okay.
jump to the hyperlink. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Crenshaw had a slide in there too that was concerning reading. But never mind, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're going to discuss numbers and operations, looking at our math data across the school at Creole Primary. This is an area for math that we would like to focus on based on the data. And here are a few things that you all as parents and guardians can do to assist our Tigers at home. So on this first slide for kindergarten, it talks about sharing or creating a 100s chart and allowing the Tigers to color in 10 at a time, and even just count the numbers in order just to get that additional practice. That's for kindergarten. For first grade, knowing numbers 0 through 20 is very important. And so using everyday practices, like when you go to the grocery store and you purchase fruit or vegetables, or even allowing your Tigers to count or sort the canned goods that they see on the shelves, is a way to also practice numbers and operations. And then in second grade, your child counting fluently and being able to add and subtract within 20 using different mental strategies. So understanding what adding and subtracting is, also using those phrases, those words when you're at home talking to them about counting and adding things together. So an example would be, and I have a bag here from one of the teachers' classrooms. These are just noodles. You can use beans, you can use rice, buttons, maybe that have popped off shirts like I have at home, but using different items that your tigers can collect around the house and using those objects for counting as well. So that's one way that our second graders can work on their counting with numbers and operations as well.
I think this is Ms. Crenshaw's slide.
So we're going to go back just for a second. Going along with the theme of being a good reader are some strategies for building better readers. It is very important to read aloud with your child. Encourage all age-appropriate reading, such as comic books, magazines. Even when you're in the grocery store, I heard Ms. Riley mention that, just reading the signs in the grocery store or the road signs. Keep a dictionary handy. Use informative books so that our children, especially third through fifth grade, so that they're reading for information. Also having book discussions consistently, but you really want to make sure you're setting a good example by allowing your child to see you reading on a daily basis, even if it's just for a few minutes, because all of this, again, builds a better reader. Thank you, Ms. Reno.
And then math for Creole.
Okay.
These got kind of mixed.
Yeah, so additional math instruction. This information also came from the Mississippi Department of Education. And while I will not go into each one individually, we're going to share this PowerPoint and we will also provide you all with the link, but we wanted to provide you with just examples of very simple things you can do. You can cut up notebook paper or plain white paper or use index cards. And for example, where you see kindergarten 2 + 6, you can have your tiger to practice writing their numbers or tracing over your numbers, and sorting where you have 2 of one color and 6 of another color and practice adding those items together and moving them around. With first grade, your student may learn about the 10 frame soon. And so at the bottom of the example is sample 10 frame. And also that could be used for counting up to 10, adding up to 10, and also subtracting as well. Help them with their fluency with numbers. And then on second grade, they will also be learning about skip counting by twos, adding numbers all the way up to 20. And this is just an example of how you can use everyday items to help with the counting and adding and subtracting.
And in Escatawpa, we looked at numbers and operations based on our data was one of the areas that we needed some assistance with. So we listed, and this is really the foundational skills for everything they're going to do in third, fourth, and fifth grade. It all plays on this understanding of numbers and operations. So some simple things that you can do at home is, you can use the number line and ask kids to round their numbers. This helps them with estimation and to even look at and see if they're close to the right answer. Makes the numbers more manageable. In fourth grade, you can have them practice using something as simple as a deck of cards or a set of dice to practice how to multiply and how to divide and practice their fact families. And in fifth grade, you can do the multi-digit again and really focus on that 10 times is, that change in place value and that 1/10 versus at 10 times. And how that correlates. And the easiest way to do this is with money, because if you have 100 pennies, it's $1, even though it sounds like a lot because it's 100. So teaching them those equivalencies of 10 and how when you increase by 10 units or decrease by 10 units, the number may grow bigger, but even though the number itself is larger, it's still a bigger or smaller unit depending on where it is around that decimal. And same thing, following that same idea of numbers and operations, some other ideas is that you can, of course, add and subtract fluently within 1,000. So it's still repeating those elementary practices, but it's using larger numbers, because now they're going to the thousands place value. And then for fourth grade, now you're starting to compare. And an easy way to do this is just, give them two different numbers. Or if you're grabbing groups, say, which one's greater than or less than. Again, key here is helping them understand that vocabulary, because sometimes it's kind of new to them. And then in fifth grade, comparing decimals. And again, that money helps a lot because we all like money. And then these are some websites as well that can help you. This is where the information comes from. It has something for actually all their standards at the Family Guides in MDE. Then there's also Prodigy, which is a free online practice that actually differentiates like Ready does and scales down to what your child actually needs specifically to practice. And then there's Extra Math as well, that actually gives you as a parent some guidance, as well as gives your children some practicing that they can do in math as well. And now Ms. Whitfield.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Ms. Whitfield, the school counselor at Kreole. I have been here for 3 years. Actually, this is my 3rd year, so I think that some of you are familiar with me, but if you're not, I have provided my contact information on this slide, my email and the phone number at the school. I've also added the code for my Google Classroom. Some of you may be familiar with it, but if you're not, I am putting lessons on there for the virtual students and the activities that we're doing in the classroom. Most of the kids at Kreole are already on my Google Classroom, but if not, the code is here for you. So I wanted to just kind of go over the role of the school counselor very briefly, just to kind of clarify what I do here at Kreole. It's a big job and I love it, but as a school counselor, I support the school-wide MTSS through behavior interventions and social emotional learning. And MTSS is multi-tiered systems of support for our students. And we can go to the next slide. I'll start talking about that, but it's all aligned with MDE SEL standards, and also gonna go over the curriculum that I'm using. But on this slide, we see the American School Counselor Association has provided this triangle, which is aligned with multi-tiered systems of support that we use for students academically. It's pretty much the same idea. On the bottom of the triangle, you see it's the widest part. Those are all students. Those are interventions and programs that we provide for all students. So as a school counselor, I provide character ed to our students. So they come to me once a week and we learn character ed, and I'm gonna go over my curriculum in another slide, but all of the students come to me once a week. And so if you look at the portion of the triangle right above that, that would be tier 2. So these are the students that we identify that need a little bit more support, particularly for classroom behaviors or emotional support. I would meet with those students either individually or in small groups. And these students can be identified by their teachers or by their parents. So if you have some concerns about your students emotionally, feel free to reach out to me and we can see about me providing some additional support for your students. And then at the top of this triangle is tier 3. Those students are having chronic problems, emotional problems, behavioral problems, and we provide additional support for them. And it's a lot of these students I also seek wraparound services for. We do have providers that come in from Coastal Family Health Center to provide additional counseling for our students if needed. So that is a resource that we have, even for tier 2 students. If they just need additional support, then we have that available. So my whole program is in line with this based on the American School Counselor Association. Oh, my slide kind of messed up. We can go to the next slide. I'm sorry. And so the Mississippi Department of Education is, they just recently released this. So it seems like they are really getting on board with recognizing how important social emotional learning is for our children. So as the school counselor, these are the standards and domains that I focus on when I meet with our students. And there are 5 domains. The first one is self-awareness. The second one is self-management. Third is social awareness. 4th is relationship skills, and the 5th one is responsible decision making. Everything that your students do in character ed is going to fall under one of these domains, because we know that these are extremely important in not just being social with other individuals, but also how they relate to their teachers and how they're able to manage themselves in the classroom so that they can learn to the best of their own abilities. So everything that I do falls under these standards, and my curriculum is aligned with this. So we can go on to my next slide. At Creole and at Escatawpa, the counselors use what's called a second step curriculum. And I actually really like this curriculum because it comes with lessons that we do for the students. And of course, Ms. Spain and I, we can use our own creativity and find things that kind of complement these units to reach our students in a way that is more relevant to them. But in these 5 units, they're kind of spread out throughout the year. We teach the students skills for learning, so classroom skills. We teach them empathy, what it looks like to understand how other people are feeling. We also teach them.
Ms. White, if you're still in the building, please go to the office at 3400.
Okay, so one of our units is also how to calm down. And then we go over problem solving steps and fair ways to play. And as I was saying, I really like this curriculum. It comes with little songs, and they actually learn the songs. You might hear your kids singing some of the songs that go with our lessons. But I found that they're really useful, and the students seem to pick up and understand and be able to reiterate what we're doing in the classroom. But this is directly aligned with the MDE standards as well as the American School Counselor Association. So all of the students in Creole and Escatawpa are learning lessons in character ed that are based on these, on this curriculum. But that isn't all that the school counselor does. I forgot to add that we are on the PBIS committee, but maybe in another meeting we'll go over that in more detail. But I am available at Creole, so I had my contact information on there. If anybody needs to reach out to me, please feel free, especially if your student is virtual. I don't know if y'all have watched my virtual lessons, but I always say that I'm hoping that the students would send me a message or schedule a one-on-one meeting, because I do miss seeing their faces. But please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about what's going on in character ed, or what's available for school counseling, or if you just need some extra support, anything that I can do to support you and your students, I am here. So reach out, please. And that's it for me.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mrs. Spain. I started out in the district in 1998 as Ms. Wilkes. So several of my students now, I have your students as my students. And so either way, I will respond. I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you a flyer that I have put together and that I periodically share with our students as we continue to enroll students, even as late as a few days ago. This is an idea to give you what we do as counselors. And so the students can feel free to reach out to us as well as the parents. We talk about topics like worry, organizing, if you lost someone you love, if you gained a new sibling, either by adoption or by birth into your family, problem solving skills, grades and goal setting, conflict and conflict resolution, changes, careers, studying, test anxiety, friends, college feelings, and making smart choices. So as we're using the second step program and other tools and things that we use, we also let the students know that they are empowered to do some things. And you'll see that with the light bulb. You have the power to keep our schools safe. Counselors help you make better choices to keep everyone healthy and safe. You control what you say and how you treat others. You can choose to use helpful words instead of harmful. So we really try to focus on that. Sometimes children have a range of emotions, and we do discuss these emotions, saying that you will. Sometimes you will be conflicted, but after you have the emotion, it's how you then deal with it and manage it. So we talk about that a lot as we have our lessons each week. Being safe at school looks like following rules, using kind words, telling adults when you need help, using calming tools if you feel upset. So we talk to students about safe ways to reach out to myself as a school counselor, as well as other adults, not to holler it out because we don't want them to be put in danger if they're feeling something, but we have safe ways. I have some papers outside my office that they can fill out if I'm not there and slide it under my door. And I've also told them if they need to see me, if it's an emergency, they can ask their teacher, they can email me, they can send me a chat message through Google Hangouts to set up a meeting time so they know that I'm available to them. I put together this Bitmoji when we were totally virtual because I missed their face, and then some of them still are virtual. And so it's good to be able to see our students here that are physically here, as well as continuing to meet with the virtual students. So there you see my name, you see my contact information, and my office is located in room 13. That is my email address and my phone number, and my extension and my classroom is in room 9, but the children know about that. Can you go to the next slide? Also, in the realm of social and emotional support, as Ms. Whitfield has really delineated there, we have once a week in classroom lessons. Sometimes we may feel the need to have a small group or a lunch bunch where they can meet with us for a few minutes during their lunchtime. Sometimes we might have an individual session by appointment. Sometimes we might have circle support in classroom. A teacher might reach out to me saying, the class might need a particular topic. So after I get off of duty in the morning, I can kind of come in and see what's going on and we can talk about it. Here are some reasons why you might need to see a counselor. You may be worried about something for school, family, or work, want help making choices or solving a problem. You may be having trouble with another kid or an adult, need help focusing in class. You might be confused about something. You might have big changes in your life, concerned about something you heard at school or home, saw somebody get hurt, somebody's hurting you, you feel like hurting yourself or others, and you want to help others or volunteer. So it's just a range of things to let them know that we are here for them and to let them know that our role is different from others in the school. Counselors do help you help yourself, guide you to find resources when you have a need at home or school, teach you how to cope with life and be your best self, and help you stay safe. And counselors do care. Counselors don't judge you nor punish you. And a word about confidentiality. When students talk with us, everything is confidential unless they are expressing that someone is hurting them, that the student wants to hurt someone else, or they want to hurt themselves. And that's where parents, we're going to have to reach out to you and get your assistance, okay? So that's it for me. I look forward to meeting with you anytime. Feel free to call or email.
Thank you, Ms. Spain, and everyone who went before Ms. Spain. I'm going to go to the last slide, and then parents, we will have a question and answer session for you as well. So as you know, we do have COVID protocols in place. Some of the things that we have been requiring for students and as well as staff members are masks and shields. Parents, what we ask is that you wash the mask often. What we're finding is that the students are wearing them often and they are dirty and they may have germs on them, and it's just a haven for germs. So we're asking that you please wash them very often and try to rotate them out. And another thing that we are finding is that if the mask is not snug, it's not gonna serve its purpose. So we ask that you find masks that are kid friendly and child size and not necessarily the adult size. If you have to put an adult size mask on the student, we're asking that you at least tie the tabs on the back of the ear so we can make sure that the students the masks are able to stay on for the students. The shields do remain in school because the teachers have to sanitize them every single day and making sure we get them back to the students when they come in. Another thing that we've noticed is as the season changes is that the students are starting to wear jackets. Again, we need those to be washed often as well and rotate those out as well. We're trying to do our best to control the amount of germs that come into the building. So we asking that if the student is wearing a jacket, that you switch it out like every other day or so to make sure that we're doing our best to help keep the school environment safe as well as your child and the staff and students of other parents. If anyone in your household tests positive for COVID, please call the school immediately. We need to put protocols in place and make sure you understand our expectations of what you should do and how you can help us. If your child is feeling ill, headache, stomach ache, sore throat, they have a loss of taste, smell, their nose hurts, we're just asking that you please do not send them to school. We need them here, but we do make arrangements when stuff like this happen because we're trying to keep everybody safe. So again, if your child is feeling ill, please do not send them to school. Please don't give them Tylenol or Motrin and say, go on your way, you'll be okay. Parents, we just don't know. This virus is running rampant, and we need to do our part to make sure that, again, we're making sure your child stays safe, as well as everyone else around here as well. So what is Moss Point School District doing? So as you know, we check the temperatures daily for staff and students, but we do know that temperatures is not, having a fever is not the only symptom. So we do keep the building sanitized. We make sure that we maintain social distancing as much as we can with students, as well as we do have a nurse in every building to help screen students for symptoms. And parents, make sure that if we do not have a good contact phone number for you, please call us and keep that up to date, because it's our job to make sure that you are aware of what's going on and with your child, or if your child has been exposed, or if your child has symptoms. We want to call you immediately and help support your child. So again, we ask that you just help us by helping you. At this time, this ends our presentation, and we most definitely thank you all for showing up and being present today. Again, if you have not put your child's name and their teacher's name in the chat box, please do so. That's how we're documenting who shows up and who will get the popsicles. We will be a 60% day tomorrow, so we're not exactly sure when we're gonna get the popsicles in, but hopefully before the end of the week, we'll make sure those kids who participated, you all who participated, your students, your child will get popsicles. At this time, parents and community members, do you have any questions for us?
Ms. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say thank you all. That was very informative, and you all gave some great information, so I definitely appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Taylor. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions, any concerns that we need to address at this time? Red Ribbon Week, we still will dress out tomorrow. It is a 60% day. Thursday will be virtual, so unfortunately we have to miss that day, and Friday is up for grabs. We're not sure what's going to happen with Friday, but please know we will do our best to communicate with you all as soon as we get word of what's happening. And we appreciate your time. Please feel free to contact us at either Creole or Escatawpa. We are here to support you and to serve you. So please know that we have an open door policy, and we do not mind hearing from you because we want your input in order to help us as well. So we thank you for your time. And again, if you did not put your child's name in the chat box and in the teacher's name, please do so at this time. And we will see you soon. Thank you.